Milestones for a successful project. What are milestones in software development? What are milestones? Who needs to create them? When are they needed? Does every project require milestones or only some of them? These are all the questions you might be asking yourself when you hear about milestones in the context of your development project. Let's try to answer some of them now. First off, what are milestones in the context of software development? You can find a more detailed explanation on Wikipedia, but the basic idea is that at the beginning of a project, you break up the anticipated work into a series of steps and set deadlines for each step. Each completed step is a milestone. Knowing what work is expected to be done by what dates and keeping track of progress helps to keep the project on time and on budget. Working without milestones. When our company started working on bigger projects for the first couple of years, we didn't use milestones at all. It actually sounds shocking now. It's not that we didn't need them or that we had anything against using them, we just didn't think that the benefit they provided was worth the effort of producing them. This is because we developed an effective way of working on small website projects where setting up project milestones seemed excessive. As the projects grew in scope, though, we needed to change to a large project mindset. After a while, we came to realize this. Milestones actually play a significant role in completing a project successfully on time and on budget. In short, any project or startup can survive without milestones. There is no question about that. But will every project be delivered on time without milestones? That's much more unlikely. Milestones are hugely important for the team and project success. They help you stay accountable, stay on track, and complete things on time. Practical milestones. Essentially, milestones are just target dates for specific bits of functionality. In practical terms, then, when you start working on a project and you decide that you need milestones, what do you actually write? How do you set up and use milestones? Well, typically it's the vendor, not the client, who sets the milestones. The agency doing the work, and in particular the programmers working on your project, will have some idea of how long different elements of the project will take to complete them. On the basis of their estimates, the overall project quote or estimate will have been created already. Milestones formalize those estimates into a timeline or plan that sets expectations on all sides about how the project ought to progress. Milestones in action. For a clearer picture, let's take a look at a specific example. In the previous article, I used the example of an app that aggregates messages from lots of different sources, like Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Viber, etc., and lets the user manage them from one place. Let's use that hypothetical app again here to explore the role of milestones. There are all sorts of online services and products that help you create milestones, but we prefer to use Google Sheets. They're highly customizable, everyone can access them, they are free, and we've not found a compelling reason to use something else. First off, you need a list of all the broad phases of your project. For the example we're using, we might have the following phases: create project brief, make wireframes, make demo app, develop design, develop the app itself. Then the main development stage needs to be broken down into more detail by feature. For our example, the list might look like this: registration and login, connecting social networks, Facebook integration, WhatsApp integration, Viber integration, Snapchat integration, Instagram integration, messaging interface and logistics, push notifications, profile settings, offline behavior, design implementation, etc. Once all the steps to creating a completed product have been laid out, it's time to set a target date for their completion. This might vary depending on the experience or availability of the programmers working on your project. So, for example, the target date for week 1 might be the development of the first stage, registration and login functionality. Real-life milestones. Follow the link in the article to see an example of some real-life milestones that we set up for a project last year. Note that the document has several different tabs to show a month-by-month breakdown. Also notice some additional notes added for some items about the fact that those items were not in the original scope or were not originally part of the milestones they are now associated with. practicalities. Milestones also help the developer to understand the structure of the project. When they create the milestones, they need to understand that each step is a visible, functioning element of the app. Often the function is dependent on another function. For example, the forgot password functionality is unlikely to be in the first milestone as it requires a registration and login functionality to be developed first. Internal and external milestones. Milestones can be set up for both internal and external use. Internal company milestones are typically a bit more detailed. They have a complete backlog of all features or tasks, which people are assigned to them, what status different parts of the project are at, etc. It also allows the company to control and improve developer estimates by giving developers a reference point for the time that they have estimated the work will take them. It helps them to stay on track and deliver on time. At the same time, it allows us as a company to track KPIs and see how we are doing in terms of fulfilling our estimates and how accurately each of the developers is estimating their work pace. Client-facing milestones are slightly different. Their main role is to manage client expectations. They make sure the client understands the complexity and structure of their project. This then sets a bar for reasonable time and cost expectations. If a new feature is added after the initial scope, the client will see where it gets placed in the overall structure and see how other milestones need to be moved and deadlines set back to allow for the new functionality. Delays to the original time frame are then clearly understood. External milestones probably also include a little extra time to allow for unforeseen risks. When we place a date on an external milestone, this is a commitment we intend to stick to, assuming the project scope doesn't get added to mid-project. Internally, we push ourselves to keep ahead of the external milestones to allow some time for the unpredictable. This ensures that we try to deliver our project on time as much as it is possible. More about app development process. If you want to read more about the app development process, check out my last article on developing an MVP or my intro to the topic of developing apps, which contains a list of the topics I've written on and links to the relevant articles.